Alright, so we're going to go over number 97 on the 3.3 homework, page 279. So it says we have a rocket consists of a right circular cylinder of a height 20, surmounted by a cone whose height and diameter are equal and whose radius is the same as the cylindrical section. What should this radius be if the total volume is to be 500 pi divided by 3? So the first step would be to come up with an equation for the volume of this rocket. So we have two parts to it. There's a cylinder at the bottom with a height of 20 and with a radius we don't know, so we're going to leave it r. The volume of any prism shape, like a cylinder or any kind of rectangular prism, can be found by doing the area of the base times the height. Since it's a cylinder, its base is a circle, so the area of the base part of it would be pi r squared, since that is the area of a circle. The only thing we know about that part is the height, so I'm going to plug in a 20 for h, and I get that that part of the volume is 20 pi r squared. And then we need to find the volume of the cone on the top. So that was the cylinder on the bottom. Now we're going to talk about the cone on the top. For a pyramid shape or a cone, the main formula was 1/3 area of the base times the height. And this area of the base is still a circle, so that would be 1/3 pi r squared h. So 1/3 pi r squared times height. What it tells us about the cone is that its its height and its diameter are equal. So that means its height is the same as its diameter. If we want to leave this in terms of r, I'm not going to use d for diameter. I'm going to say the diameter is 2 times the radius. So I know its height is going to be 2 times its radius. So I'm going to plug that in, 1/3 pi r squared times 2r. And then for the part about its radius is the same as the cylindrical section, that just means it's okay to use the same r in both parts of my volume formula. So now I have a complete volume formula if I add those together. So my volume would be 20 pi r squared plus, and then over here I'm going to simplify 1/3 times 2 would be 2/3 pi, and then that r squared times r would give me r cubed. So this is the volume of the whole shape. Then it tells us that we want the volume to equal 500 pi over 3. So all of that equals 500 pi divided by 3. I'm going to take away the v equals at the beginning here. Then I'm just going to simplify this equation. What I notice first is that I have a fraction over here and a fraction here in the middle. So what I can do to fix that is I can multiply both sides by 3. So 3 times 20 is 60 pi r squared. And then 3 times 2/3 would be 2 pi r cubed equals, and then over here the 3's would cancel out, so it would just be 500 pi. So then what we see is that this is a cubic equation, and what we're wanting to do is find out what r equals. So I'm going to first get everything to one side. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to divide everything by pi now, because everything has a pi. And that way we just have this left without all the pi's. So I'm going to get everything to one side and just reorder it. And at this point, to solve that, we could do, minus 500 equals 0. We could use our solving of polynomials method that we used this whole section, which was, the last number, the first number possible, look on your calculator, do synthetic division. We're only going to want one answer, and it's the one that is positive and the one that makes sense for the situation. So what I would do at this point is go ahead and just type that into your calculator, and then look on your calculator to see where the graph crosses the x-axis, because that would be the solution. And then what you can do is trace it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Or not trace it, but you can find the actual thing. All that writing went away, by the way, guys. That's what happens. I guess I could restore it, but hey, it came back. But it's going to go away again. Talking to myself. Okay, so I'm going to go to the y equals, and I'm going to type that in. So I have 2, I'm going to use x, obviously, to the third plus 6x squared, and then I have minus 500, and I want to know the solution. So I'm looking on my graph, and I'm want to see where it crosses the x-axis, which would be there, right there. So I can estimate it. It's somewhere between 5 and 6. But if I want that exact number, I'm going to second trace 0. It's asking for left bound, right bound. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm going to just type in numbers for left bound, right bound. I know it's between 5 and 6, so I'm going to do 5 enter for left bound and then 6 enter for right bound. I'm not even going to guess. And there's our answer. So r equals, the radius would equal 5.44. They wanted it 2 decimal places. And that would be what, meters? That is our answer. So kind of a tricky one.